Okay, live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are live on Facebook. Hey, everybody.
Good morning. Welcome to part 3.
Right. Dazed and Confused, part 3. Let me get my questions up here. All righty. Nicole, are you ready to knock it out?
Well, I'm going to do my very best.
Okay, so we've got some questions today on the endocannabinoid system. If I read it, I can't say it. So let's talk about that. What the heck is an endocannabinoid system?
So long story short, it's a system in your body that all mammals or animals in the kingdom have. We're not unique in that way. It's a system that goes throughout your entire body, your brain, all of your organs, even your skin. It's all over the place. You're born with it, and you're born with a certain number of receptor sites, all those things. And it either is working really well or it isn't. So the function of this system is really to kind of help your body reach a homeostasis. So I'm going to give you an example of what homeostasis is. So if you understand that biologically, you'll understand what its job is. So it serves as a vital purpose for your well-being. It regulates certain aspects of all sorts of your biological functions. So think, the fairy tale Goldilocks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Goldilocks didn't want it too hot and didn't want it too cold, right? She wanted it just right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the cannabinoid system does the same thing. It doesn't want your body too hot. It doesn't want it too cold. It doesn't want you having too much sugar, blood sugar. It wants it to be just right. It doesn't want you to have too much hormones or not enough hormones. It doesn't, it really is the balancing system. It's the communication center that makes all of those hormones and all of those neurotransmitters and all those things talk to each other the way that they're supposed to and try and reach the balance of just right. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So with that, it says, the article I'm reading now says the endocannabinoid system is a vital molecular system for helping maintain homeostasis or balance, and it helps the cells stay in their Goldilocks zone. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Goldilocks was happy when everything was good, but when it wasn't, all hell breaks loose, right?
Right.
So there are key pieces of this system, and not to get too nerdy about locks and keys and how these things interact, there's 3 basic components. Because of this critical role, the ECS is widespread throughout the animal kingdom. The key pieces evolved a long time ago, and the ECS can be found in all vertebrae. So all of us that have a spine, right, we all have this system. The 3 components are the cannabinoid receptors, so the information receiving, right, and it's found on the surface of the cells. The endocannabinoids are the very small molecules that activate, or the catalyst or the fire behind the cannabinoid receptors. Okay. And then the 3rd piece is the metabolic enzymes that break down the endocannabinoids after they've been used. So that's it. It's a basic system. You have a receiver, you have something that makes it go there, and then you have the system that breaks it down to do what it's supposed to do.
So with that, how does it affect our health when it's either thrown off or not working or work? Hopefully it's working, but tell us about how this EC system affects our health.
Okay, well, so the question was 2 questions. One is, how do you know if you're out of balance, and how does it affect your health?
Yeah.
So how does it affect your health? Let me see here. Since its discovery, science and scientists and all that discovered this in the early 1990s. And so since then, they've done a lot of studies trying to understand how this bad boy works, right? They have now started to have a lot of research done, a lot of evidence-based science showing what this can do and how it works. And, they're just learning more and more about how it relates to how it's either working right or it isn't. So that's a bigger question. And we'll probably go into what does it look like if your endocannabinoid system isn't working right? But to kind of give you an idea is, if something's off kilter, you're going to be experiencing inflammation, metabolism problems, chronic pain, possibly, and some other challenges. So it affects your health. If you understand that it's therapeutically, what it's supposed to do is decrease pain. It can fight, serious dis-ease conditions. It can prevent, potentially when it's working correctly, neurodegenerative diseases, things like that, because it goes down to the cellular level. Overall, research is indicating that the endocannabinoid system helps regulate the body's immune and central nervous systems and ensure that they're running correctly. So that's your entire spine and central nervous system affects everything in your body, right? Mm-hmm. All the nerves connect to every organ, right? It is literally attached to everything. So how it relates to our overall health is really going to be covered. We're going to cover more next week on the deficiency of the endocannabinoid system. But just so that we kind of get a sort of a teaser is that it's speculated that for some people, the body does not generate enough endocannabinoids. So, Kibi, let me ask you a question. So has there been a time in your life when, say, you didn't have enough calcium in your body? And maybe your doctor ran some tests and said, hey, you're really low in vitamin D3, you're really low in calcium. So what you do is you supplement with that with some great, hopefully, foods as opposed to something, synthetic. But either way, there's ways to know, right? If you're deficient in vitamin D3, there are certain conditions that happen because of that. Your body might run, or your doctor might run blood tests to see if your thyroid's working right, or if your pituitary gland is working right, or, ladies of a certain age, they're running hormone tests to see how your organs are functioning and producing the hormones, right? Mm-hmm. So similarly, our bodies produce cannabinoids. We make some of them, right? So, but if it's not working well, we might have to supplement with them. Hopefully, like I said, in the same with your nutrition, you would want to, get a most clear or clean product as you can get.
Right.
You want to get something that's going to create those cannabinoids in your body. So tell me, when you knew that maybe nutritionally something wasn't right, how did you feel?
Well, I can relate to whenever I was pregnant, my iron went low. Mm-hmm. And of course, doctors want to put you on iron supplements, and that didn't work. And I actually studied and researched that stuff come out in sewers, full peel. Like your body's not even absorbing it, right? So, but back then I was not as educated on supplements, and I wasn't using a product I'm using today that I wish I had. But what I did was I had to do smoothies, and I had to implement organic kale and spinach and things like that to get my iron up. But the way it made me feel, I felt like I had the flu every day. Like I was pregnant. I was already 8 months pregnant and swollen feet and all that. And then on top of that, I had low iron. So I stayed exhausted. I felt sick. I felt like I had the flu. So when one thing's off like that, it's major.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people are suffering and don't even know that there's just a system out of balance, right? I mean, pregnancy is what it is. And, it would be nice if we could kind of chalk everything up to a natural cause or a natural state of being because we're giving birth or we're doing a certain thing. But sometimes our endocannabinoid system just gets out of whack for some reason. It could be dietary. It could be, you're exposed to a lot of toxins. It could be job related. It could be stress related. It could be any number of things that your life and the information your body is getting that's out of balance that is causing your systems to kind of shut down or not work the way they should. So scientists are showing, and they're speculating that the deficiency or this imbalance and the way that's related to our health could even be related to autoimmune disorders, migraines, fibromyalgia, irritable bowel syndrome, and more. I mean, because it goes through all of your organ systems, just like, your central nervous system and our innervation is everywhere. This endocannabinoid system and this lock and key, this receptors and receivers and how your body breaks down all these cannabinoids that your body makes and or those you're getting from different foods or plants, etc. So it's designed to feed and use endocannabinoids to help your body function the way that it's supposed to, that balance, that Goldilocks zone, right? So it can affect your health in many, many ways if it's not working right. When it's working right, you're feeling good, right? You have good energy, you're sleeping well, you probably have a lot less pain. I mean, let's assume that you didn't go to the gym and just do leg day, right? So, but in normal circumstances, your body is working properly and you don't have a lot of dis-ease, right? We're not out of whack. But for those of us who've had any, name it, right? We've had hormone issues. We've had, right? Pick something on your own experiences that you've had that have caused issues. So it really is to ask yourself, things have I been going
through? What we know about, because while I was pregnant, I went to the doctor and said, hey, test me, something's not right. But how often do we walk around just feeling bad and we don't know? And we don't go get a test and we don't know something's off. So great point. So are you ready to move to the next question?
Sure. Let me find my notes here.
So with the endocannabinoid system, or ECS is what we're referring to, how does it impact, which you kind of covered it, but let's go in more depth. How does it impact our metabolism with obesity and inflammation? You did talk about autoimmune, but how does it impact metabolism, obesity, and inflammation?
I like this question because it actually, remember I told you that the system goes all the way into your gut, right? So our health really matters as to what this endocannabinoid system. So I want you to get really excited about this because, and if you're listening and you're watching, get your ears up because gut health is a big issue, right? And we know, and science has shown and studies have shown, and you've probably experienced when you've maybe eaten something it didn't, digest well, and you just had some discomfort, bloating, etc. But long-term imbalances in your gut microbiome can cause major problems with your metabolism, can cause obesity, and huge amounts of inflammation systemic throughout your body. So imagine your gut, and I know we're talking about the endocannabinoid system. So the endocannabinoid system is in your gut, all of your intestines, right? Your intestines and your digestive system play a really big role on how your body metabolizes everything, right? So the gut microbiome, trillions and trillions of bacteria. If you want to do your homework, you can check that out, gut microbiome and how that works, how the body works with respect to these imbalances and what happens to it. So research demonstrates that gut microbiome can influence many other bodily systems and functions beyond simply gut health and digestive function. These microorganisms play an important role in mediating your immune system, inflammation, and defend against unwanted pathogens, metabolizing fat, proteins, carbohydrates, and even our central nervous system. So remember, the endocannabinoid system is right in there with your central nervous system, right? And links mental performance, depression, anxiety, etc. And it shifts in population with your gut bacteria. So depending on what you're eating, it can really disrupt how any of those things I just mentioned are functioning. So through direct and indirect actions, the endocannabinoids are known to influence a wide range of physiological systems, including appetite, pain sensation, inflammation, temperature regulation, intraocular pressure. So if you have vision issues, right? Muscle control, energy balance, metabolism, sleep health, stress responses. Okay, so for those of us who've had, say, maybe chronic stress for a number of years for whatever reason, it affects how your stress response, like releasing, the hormone name just flew out of my head. In any event,
Cortisol.
What is it?
Cortisol.
That's it, cortisol. So your stress response. So all this is a balance, right? It's all trying to work to find this level playing field. So together, the biological system of lipid mediators, proteins, and receptors can be referred to as the endocannabinoid. It's like a system of, it's a system. Endocannabinoid is what it's called. So on the other hand, phytocannabinoids, which we're talking about cannabis, because everyone's so curious about hemp cannabis. What can it do? How can it help me? What's its role? And if I am having these kinds of issues, the question you need to ask yourself is, what can I do about it? our metabolism can affect your weight. Certainly it can kind of tying in your gut health with obesity and inflammation. If you have a chronic inflammatory condition, start looking at your gut health. So phytocannabinoids, which well over 90, including CBD and THC, have been found to exist and are chemical plant derivatives that interact with the same endocannabinoid system. Evidence is showing that the gut microbiota and the endocannabinoid system are intertwined. So this gives me great hope, to be honest. When you've struggled, because we're all bio-individuals, we all are different from one another. We're not ever going to be the same people, but we all have the same systems, and how well are they working for one person or not? So if you can work on some of those things and give this system a boost so that your body can start to rebalance itself, it gives me great hope. Especially for people who've been struggling with their weight. I mean, how many people do you know, Kibi, that have been struggling with their weight, right? Up, it's gone down, you get stressed, you hang on to 10 pounds, right? You might gain 20, whatever. So it's been established that endocannabinoids are widely produced in the organs and contribute to energy balance, metabolism, body weight, and such as the brain, liver, pancreas, fat tissue, and muscle tissue. Endocannabinoids have been shown to control gastric emptying, gastrointestinal motility, like when you feel satisfied, your appetite, regulation of fat intake, and blood sugar responses after a meal. Hello, that's a big deal.
Right.
So if your endocannabinoid system can affect how your blood sugar even is operating or, being dispersed or processed, that's a big deal. It says, meanwhile, your gut microbiota contributes to energy balance by regulating fat storage in your adipose tissue and insulin sensitivity. So I would say that, we're going to post in the event the articles that I've referred to today so that you can kind of go do your own homework. My recommendation would be that if you have been experiencing chronic inflammation, and inflammation creates so many different diseases, Google that, what diseases are caused by inflammation. If your body was in homeostasis and happy, and you could get your gut bacteria in control, and you could implement, say, a hemp cannabis product, hemp CBD oils, have a little THC. We already talked about the entourage effect in our last video. We talked about the basics of what hemp cannabis can do for you, and, sort of trying to assuage some of your people's concerns about drug testing and other things. We've posted some great articles and information on the event page. So I highly encourage you to go to the Dazed and Confused event page, and everything that we've been talking about, including these videos, are going to be posted in that event so you can share them, look up the research, ask some questions. And everyone has been asking some really great questions. So please keep them coming and I will do my best to get answers for you. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a girl who likes to do some research and trying to get y'all some information. So the next time we're going to talk about what clinical endocannabinoid deficiency is and get you some more information perhaps about some of the things you've been experiencing.
Great, great. So if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you do #replay. Let us know where you're watching from, especially if you're on the recording or live. And also make sure that you're in the event. Like Nicole just mentioned, we do post articles there. You can keep up with the recordings there. So I highly recommend that you say you're going, say yes, you're going, so that you get the updates. And that is a repeat event. So you'll even get a reminder that we're going live soon. We do meet on Wednesdays at 12:15 Eastern every Wednesday. So make sure you're also sending us your questions as well. And we will do that research for you and get them answered. So with that, be blessed. We'll see you on part 4. Bye now.